Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the RLM podcast. Joining me in the studio today is a good friend of mine and a fellow student at the Hempfield High School, Evan Haines. Evan, introduce yourself to the people.
Hello. My name is Evan Haines. I am in 11th grade. I'm a pretty boring person. I don't really have much going on for me outside of school other than this upcoming spring. I'm probably going to be doing the unified track.
Nice.
With the special needs. That's something I'm very passionate about, is working with the gifted and working with those who maybe struggle socially, because a lot of times I see myself when I was little. I always had some pretty bad anxiety when I was little, and I feel like helping those that maybe struggle with what I had or something along those lines kind of makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah. I've also been interested in doing unified track. I didn't do track last year, but I'm thinking I might potentially do that this year. Does that every day, or is that, I don't remember, is that every day or something?
So at least last season, I don't know if it's going to change now. I'm assuming it won't, but last season it was Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Gotcha.
For like 3:30 to 3 to 4:30, I think it was. So not long practices, super laid back, great coaches, just a great overall vibe to it.
Yeah, and I think the kind of the mission of it, I think it's great. I think it's awesome that they have that opportunity, that they don't ever exclude people with a certain inability to do something from being able to do something fun like run or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But getting to so today I kind of wanted to delve into some stuff more on the heavy side, politics, more exactly how politics affect our everyday life, as essentially young adults, how we, how the stuff that happens, obviously overseas and in America itself, obviously the stuff with Russia and Ukraine, the stuff with Israel, how all that stuff affects us in everyday life and how we perceive it.
Yeah.
Politics are always going to be around. They've always been around. So how do you feel that teenagers, kids as a whole view world politics?
Well, I think a lot of it, I know I sound like old when I say this, but a lot of it is influenced by social media.
Right.
Whether it's right wing, left wing, or down the middle, if someone sees something and it's on their feed, that social media platform, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, it'll keep showing them that stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll be kind of prone to believing that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't actually follow a whole lot of that, all that political political accounts. Like I don't even think I follow the president of the United States on Instagram. I don't. It's not because I don't care. It's because it's not something I need to focus on. I'm just like, there are so many other things I could be thinking about rather than just whatever dumb thing you're doing next. It's not that every politics are stupid. It's just
it's so negative.
Right.
There's so much negativity.
There's rarely ever a time where politics are like a positive thing. They're almost always it's one side trying to get back at the other side. Even if they do something nice, right?
Yep.
It's almost still like, oh, well, you did this, so we're going to do this. It's like, just get along.
Yeah, I think like there's so many times when something like, for example, like something's passed in Congress by Republicans. Democrats don't like it, even if it's beneficial for a lot of people or vice versa. It's just there's so much polarization in politics right now, and especially in America, because I feel like so many of the people that we have in charge of our country are very bent on doing what they want and what they feel is best, rather than for themselves, rather than, or for their party even, rather than the whole country. Now, obviously, that's not everyone.
Right.
I feel like that's the motivation for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at what the biggest political issues are in America, I'm literally reading this all right now. I mean, corruption in government agencies, and obviously the top of the government to the lowest of the food chain.
Yeah.
You know, you got climate crisis, which leads a lot of the major problems we see in politics do center around, you know, everyone's like, oh, well, we have the solution to it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, well, if you do work to work together, we might not still be here. And then you've got, you know, cyber issues, drugs and crime and all that stuff. And it's like, I feel when I was a kid and people talked about politics, like, all I thought was the president. I was just like, it's the president.
Yeah.
Politics, president.
Yeah.
It was a direct correlation to me. Only once I hit like maybe when the Trump, the whole Trump presidential campaigns, like all that started, and when Trump became president, maybe that's when I started actually really paying attention to social media and the way it portrays all this stuff. Like, because you get the one side that's like pro-Trump, you know, oh, we love Trump, and there's the people who are just like, Trump is a good president. I agree on some things. And then there are other people like, Trump is right in everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I'm not here to tell you what's the right side. That's not my job. It's
you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't.
Right.
I mean, there is no right or wrong.
It's so objective
Exactly.
to whatever. It's whatever you believe in, and sometimes people will believe in similar things. Like I've always had the feeling that the two sides are very equal. They're very close to each other.
Yeah.
They both usually want the same things. They just have different ways of trying to achieve it.
Exactly. Yep.
Which is
yeah, and like you said, with I think one of the biggest things is the climate.
right.
You mentioned that, and that has been a very hot topic.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but a very hot topic since like 2000.
Right.
Like
yeah.
since like early 2000s, late 1900s or late 1990s. And that's just been a very polarizing issue, and I feel like that is one of the key components of where the polarization started in American politics. And it doesn't just affect the government, it affects everybody.
Right.
Because you have those that are so passionate about it, they're willing to kill, or they're willing to hurt someone.
Right.
And to kind of circle back to teenagers in politics, again, it's social media. It's what they see. I feel like so many teenagers are so easily influenced, and I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah.
Like we all are.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But like, it's scary. I mean, that's.
I mean, I think, like, I didn't really. I mean, I haven't had a phone since like last year. I was not exposed to social media and all that influence until maybe 16 years old, 16, 15. And honestly, I'm happy that I wasn't. I honestly could have gone a little longer without having to see all that stuff, because it gets to the point where it's almost like the world is making those ideas for you. It's like the world. I mean, at that point, I feel like you're not even making your own choice about what you want to think or believe, because everyone's just being like forcing one opinion or another down your throat.
Yep.
So it's almost like people who are just like, hey, I don't even have an opinion. Everyone's like, pick us up, and it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, if I don't want to pick an opinion, if I don't want to pick a side, don't force me to. That's just just not fair. But yeah, I mean, and I think that's even another thing people need to figure out is when is the right time to expose kids, teenagers, whatever, to all that influence, and when is the right time to give them that. I don't know. I mean, it's almost like another universe of just, because it's like a different world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have real life where, you know, people talk one way, and then you go on social media and they're just, you know, completely different people. Some of them turn to be absolute monsters on social media, and you're like, what? That person is not like that in real life. They're so confused. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of gotta balance it correctly. Like I don't think it's fair to shelter people from that stuff, but it's also not good to shove it down their throats and make them pick a side. That's yeah.
Like I'm pretty down the middle. Like I'm pretty down the middle. And like I'm very passionate about people, and helping people and listening to people and just kind of being there.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially within the last couple of years, I mean, politics have always been prevalent. They've always been divisive. They've always been,
right.
But I feel like in the last year, so many people have found themselves being lost or feeling stranded because of what they believe in, whether it be a political belief or a religion or anything like that. I don't like to see that. I mean, I think a lot of people don't.
Right,
so many people are scared to speak up.
Yeah. And when people are scared to speak up like that, that's when you know you're pushing too much on them, that they're not even it's not that they necessarily don't have opinions. They're too scared to voice their opinion because either they or everybody that they know has been, essentially punched in the throat for it. It's just like being like, oh, well, you're just, your opinion is the wrong opinion. It's like, there's not a wrong opinion.
There's not. Yeah.
As long as your choices stay in the boundaries of essentially moral right and wrong, like there's nothing. There was no opinion that's like, oh, this is the right opinion, this is the wrong opinion. No.
Yeah.
We are naturally biased. It is almost impossible to stay unbiased about something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless we have like no knowledge of it, then we can't think anything. But it's like people are like, oh, well, you have to be an unbiased. If you're a reporter, you have to be unbiased. Yeah, but you're not unbiased. You just have to sound unbiased so that no one gets mad at you. It's such a. I don't want to say it's a broken society, but it's such a. It's such a cracked society too.
Yeah. So, it's like you said, it's divisive. It's scary, but there's no right or wrong.
Right.
It's not going to change anytime soon. You just kind of got to live with it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a hard topic to talk about. It really is.
Yeah, especially and I'm happy that I don't really have too many heavy political ideas. I'm just like, just get along, people. I don't really care what happens. Just get along.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's almost Super Bowl season. It's almost Super Bowl, huh?
Yes, it is.
I know you're very passionate about football.
Yes, I am. Saints fan here, unfortunately.
Not a good not a good weekend then.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, Super Bowl coming up.
Who are you rooting for?
49ers.
49ers?
I did not like the Chiefs. Yeah. I did not like the Chiefs. I'm rooting for the 49ers. I find football to be a very good escape, and it kind of it's one of the things that I find to be an escape,
right?
From the kind of ruthless world we live in. Football, video games, obviously. I like to watch movies and shows and stuff, and that all kind of helps me navigate my emotions. They kind of help keep me I can't think of the word, kind of keep me grounded.
Right. Yeah. Most people who enjoy sport like that, that's typically, they use it because, they want to it's something to allow your mind just to sink in and enjoy, or even if you're one of those people who gets really heated about a football game or whatever, you're watching football game, soccer, and all that stuff. It's a great channel because there's none of that. Even if you get heated about, there's none of that personal, where you're angry about another person. It's like, who are you angry about? You're watching football.
It's a good what's the word? A good way to re-navigate your emotions.
Right. Yeah. I like that there is a good barrier that when you're watching sports, you're not really ever like no one's watching sports and really thinking about the crap that happened that day. They're thinking about the football game and stuff like that, which is great because I am a great advocate for, prioritizing mental health in your life.
Yes, absolutely.
And if watching football is something that brings you that happiness, that, just separation from all the crap that happens, good on you. Like, you found something. Like, I think
mental health is huge.
Absolutely. It's honestly one of the reasons that it's something that I would love to make a career out of. Doing some sort of, whether it's some sort of philanthropic mental health endeavor, such as giving money to those organizations that are built to help people with mental health issues. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, but also it's also heartbreaking at times, especially when it happens to someone and they're so broken over it, and you're just you're just like, why does this have to happen to people? But lots of, for the people listening, not everyone will know, but my mom has been going through a very tough time for the past we're coming up on 6 months, I think, so she originally had knee surgery, and then after that, I think she was experiencing I think it was just a little, I honestly, I don't know. I think it was just a little bit of discomfort from it, and then
like physical.
I think it was physical and mental discomfort from it, just from not being able to walk for so long. And then it's just, so she started, she got prescribed some, soothing meds, and then it didn't go away, and it just kind of kept getting worse. And then she got put on these medications that are really powerful antidepressants. And it was terrible. I mean, it absolutely kind of destroyed her. And this was while I was working at my summer camp. So, I think I came home the one week and she was just not, I was like, she was not, how she is normally. Normally, she's talking all the time, making jokes and all that stuff. And she's awesome. Like, you've met her, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's such a positive person naturally. So it killed me when I saw that she wasn't, she wasn't doing so good. So, and she got off of it, but she is not back to normal yet, which really sucks, because it just withdrawal from any drug or antidepressant, it puts your body through the ringer.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like it's not, and it's not just a mental thing. Like it's a very real, very physical thing that it does to your body. I mean, I've watched it happen, not all of it, but I've watched what's happened to my mom, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the fact that millions of people are on the drugs or go through that withdrawal, it's hard. I mean, it is horrifying.
It's
honestly.
devastating. I don't know if any of my family is going to be listening to this or not, but I'm just going to come out and say this. This might be a little hypocritical of me to my mom, but I do take some medication as well,
right.
Just to help with like anxiety and kind of like even out the moods and stuff. It's nothing. I don't want to like make your
right. No, you're good.
Like, but for me, it's almost like I don't like to take it because it makes me feel like I'm not in control of myself.
Right.
And I feel like that happens with a lot of people.
Yeah.
That are on a medication, whether it be for anxiety or mental health, depression, whatever it may be.
Right.
So many people struggle with staying consistent with it.
Yeah.
I am very inconsistent with it, and it's not good. Like I need to be better with that. And coming from someone who struggles to take the medicine consistently, take it consistently. It's there to help. I need to tell myself this too sometimes, but it's there to help. It's going to make you feel better.
Yeah, and I think it's also important. Like, obviously, what I'm saying does not apply to every single person.
No.
There are some people that antidepressants work, and it works for them, and it makes them, get better. But there's also people like, for some people, it does not work, whether it's their genetics or whatever. It just is. It's not going to work, and I think it's important that make sure before you go and take something like that, research it. I know my mom has researched everything about all the stuff that she's taken so that she at least knows what symptoms she's going to deal with. Yeah. She may not know when they happen, but at least when they happen, she'll be like, okay, well, this is that symptom.
Yeah.
I've read up about it. I've read that is a normal withdrawal symptom.
Yeah.
And it may affect everyone differently. This is how it's affecting me. Now I can figure out how to, essentially how to deal with it, how to keep moving with this. And my mom she's just one of the strongest people I know. I mean, she it's harder for her to see it, but I've seen so much awesome improvement in her, and it's awesome. It truly, it's one of the things that makes me the happiest in the world is when I see my mom smiling.
Yep.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Moms are one of the strongest people in the world.
Absolutely, man.
God bless your mom. I truly wish the best for her. I'm going to pray for her.
Absolutely.
And just looking at this, roughly a little less than 20% of adults in America, equivalent to about 50 million people, had some sort of mental health issue.
Right. Yeah.
Ranging from very serious to just a mild depression.
Right.
No matter what it is, it's important to
absolutely
acknowledge, because if you don't acknowledge it, it will get worse. And if you don't try to help yourself, it's going to get worse. Yeah. And I think some of the strongest people I know are the people that think they're weak.
Absolutely. And it's usually, there are some people who think they're weak because people all their life has just been telling them, you're not good enough, you're weak. And that's when they need those people in their lives to be like, hey, no, you're doing good. Like, think of you've gotten this far, you're good. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And I think that means more to me is not necessarily, it's just as long as someone has that person in their life that tells them, hey, you're doing good. That is great. And like you said, no matter how minute or how severe the mental health issue or whatever it is important to address it and figure out the best way for you as a person, as an individual, to take care of it. Because not all treatments are for everyone. People say, oh, if you're depressed, you should take this medication. Yeah. Well, if that medication works for you, then you should take that medication. You should do good amounts of research, maybe even take, DNA tests, drug tests, blood tests, whatever you can to make sure you get the right treatment.
Like with me, I started on one. It started off okay. Like, it was more of like a honeymoon phase. Right. And over time, I first of all became inconsistent with it. So obviously it wasn't doing what it was supposed to. Right. But then I started getting more consistent with it again, and I just wasn't noticing the change. So I changed it. And that's what's so important, is that you speak to, whether it be a parent, a doctor, a friend, whatever, because it can be changed and you can get help no matter what. Yeah.
And there's, it is common that people who suffer from any sort of mental health disease or whatever, that they're often like, oh my gosh, there's nothing I can do about this. Yeah. Don't immediately assume that, because more often than not, there is someone else who has suffered from that. Yeah. There's probably millions. I mean, there's 7 billion, almost 8 billion people on this world. Some of them, there's definitely a good amount of them have dealt with what you're dealing with. They have suffered from it, and they are there to help you, whether it's on online forums or there's apps and websites just devoted to people who have gone through the same thing. They're there to help you. So never feel like you are alone.
Maybe don't trust Twitter. Maybe don't trust Twitter.
No, don't trust Twitter. That's a good life lesson. Don't trust Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad. I mean, I think that, like, going back to what you were saying about having just that one person telling you that you're doing good, that means more than 1,000 people telling you that you suck.
Sure. Yeah. like you going continue with that. Like if you were in a room with all these people telling you suck, and one person said you're great, I would. All those other people telling me I suck, I'd tunnel vision. I wouldn't even hear them anymore. I'd be like, that one person means so much to me because they're going against the tide. I read this quote the other day. It said, "It would be better to go against the tide, but in the right direction, than to go with everybody else going in the wrong direction."
I've heard, I've heard that one
it's
before.
like, boom.
I love that one.
Meaning of life right there, people.
It's like something straight out of Kung Fu Panda, but I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like it's the fish going upstream instead of going downstream because they know they're gonna die if they keep going downstream.
It's basically just saying you gotta go the harder way sometimes. Right. It's that's just life, you know.
Yeah.
Life.
Choose. You remember that video that book in the movie Wonder?
Oh my god, I love that. Yeah.
I remember. I think it was the principal in that book. Mm-hmm. He says, if you're ever given the choice between choosing what's right and being kind, always choose kind. Mm-hmm. Choose kind because maybe necessarily being right and being kind. Mm-hmm. Choose kind, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, who really cares if you're right?
Yeah.
Like,
no
one. I would much rather everyone have people respect me because I'm kind rather than people respect me because I'm always right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I think I'd said that on a couple episodes ago. I'd said I don't want people to, like, a lot of people. You know, there are people who are famous and there are people who are famous for what they do, and there are people who are famous for who they are. Like, you know, who they are as a person.
Yeah.
I would rather be famous for who I am as a person than for what I do.
Yep.
You know, this podcast, it is a channel for me to share stories with the world. I'd rather be known for the person who shares stories, who is kind and helps people, than be famous for the person who has a podcast.
Yeah,
I don't need to be famous for that. No.
Yeah.
Like, when you reach that point in your life where you are at the ability where you're famous. And you have that, you almost have, and you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. Mm-hmm. And there are going to be people who will completely agree with you, and there are going to be people who completely hate you for it.
Absolutely.
It's like, I would rather be hated for being kind than be loved for being an absolute a-hole.
Yeah.
Like, there's no honor in just respecting other people or hurting other people. Yeah. There's no honor in that. Yeah. So ridiculous.
Yeah, so many people just find. I know so many people think the whole thing of, like, when people are mean to you, oh, they're just jealous of you. Maybe not necessarily jealous of you, but they aren't happy with who they are, even if they don't know it. Like, like, it might not even be a deep thought, but it's true. Like, whether your brain is thinking it somewhere or not, that's always true.
Absolutely.
If people shame you for being a good person, then you're doing the right thing. If you are helping people who tripped and fell in the hallway, drop their books, you're doing the right thing.
Right.
Even if someone laughs at you, or if, I don't know, there's someone, a special needs. Like, let's go back to that. Like someone, and you're being nice to them. You're talking to them.
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh, why are you talking? Like, they're people.
Right.
They're human
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah. There's nothing that separates. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's and going on, like, working with the gifted and stuff. Like I said earlier, that's something I'm very passionate about. And when people, whether they be low on the autism spectrum or missing legs and high on the autism spectrum, they are human.
Absolutely.
They were made in the eyes of God, and
absolutely.
I don't care what their status is. I don't care if everyone makes fun of them for how they look or how they act. They're human.
Absolutely. Like, yeah. And I think I hate, I'm going to use the word hate. I hate the people who, you know, they talk to the special needs kids and then they only do it because they want to look good.
Exactly.
Like, don't do it because you want to look good. Do it because you want to, you know, you want to know about this person. You want to talk to this person. You want to learn and be friends with this person because they want to be friends with you.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, they They want the same things you want in life. They just may have a harder time of achieving those because the world may not may not be suited for that's what's the thing for that person. But that doesn't mean that they don't deserve it. Half the time they deserve it more than we do. They're working twice as hard. They're doing everything they can to get there. So I think it's so I think it's awesome when, you know, you find people like you who are just like they love that, you know, that connection with with that group of people, just talking to them, learning about them. It's awesome. This summer, so at summer camp I work at the after the normal camp season, they do this thing called Diocedes at the camp, or the Diocedes camp comes to the camp and they stay there for a week. And I was there for I believe half the week that they were there, and it was awesome to talk to these people and to meet these people. And these were all like adults who all, you know, had some sort of you know, they all had some sort of special needs,
disability,
disability or whatever. But I would meet everyone. I would say hi to every single one as they came up to the counter for their food. I would say hi. How was your day? What do you want to eat? And it was awesome because it builds, you know, just asking someone like that, hey, how was your day? Like that builds an instant like trust relationship. It's great. You know, you smile at them, they smile back. It builds that comfortability and the familiarity, and that's fantastic. And that makes me happier than like any award, any gift I could ever get.
Absolutely.
Smiling at someone, them smiling back, and having that second bond, it's great. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah, like excuse me. Even just on the way in here, I saw, I don't want to say her name, but I saw a girl on the way in here. She is in the gifted classes. I said hi to her. We talked. She was asking me how my day was. I asked her how her day was. It's as simple as that. It's so much easier to be nice than be mean.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Like that's just, it's like there's nothing to gain from being mean. It's like, it's cheesy, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's honest truth. Being mean to someone requires, first you have to think, what's going to offend this person? Yeah. Right? so then that's automatically setting your head saying, oh, what's going to offend this person? Then you have to think, oh, how do I say this to make me look cool? And like, how do I say this to make me seem like a cool guy? No. If you saying hi to someone, just saying, hey, how are you? Significantly easier than saying, hey, you know, you look blah, 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 blah. Like, significantly easier. It's ridiculous when people are like, oh, well, I'm just going to be mean. No, just treat him like a person. Yeah. Treat him like a person. Yep. Simple.
Yeah, like, and I am very big on trying to learn their names. Yeah. Because I think that's huge for the relationship. Like, you know Tony?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone loves Tony. Yeah. Like, I got to know him more through Unified Track, which again, just a great experience. It builds bonds with those that you may not have expected to ever build one with, and it's just great. It's a great organization. But I see Tony, I say, hey Tony, how's it going? Or what's up, Tony? And give him a fist bump. We talk, ask him what he's doing today, how he's doing today. It takes 2 minutes of my day to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And like people always are like, oh, I have to go so above and beyond. No, you don't. You just got to say, hi, how are you? Yep. And they may say good, and it's like, awesome. Yep. You keep going. You don't, yeah, exactly. You don't have to make a whole day of it. You just got to, it's more important that you treat that person just like a person. Don't treat them like they're more than a person, because then that's almost patronizing. Yeah. Treat them like you would treat any other, like any person. That's what they are. They are not different. It's, yes, society puts them in a different class, and they put them in a different category. Yeah. But that does not separate, like I this may be contradictory to some people, but I'm gonna say anyways. If you strip everything away, all the identity stuff, all the, you know, political stuff, all that away, we're all human. Yeah. Like I don't care what you want to say, but I don't care what your identification is. I don't care. We are all human. Yep. And we all need to treat each other like human. Like, I know you're very Christian. I'm very Christian. Like, God did not put us on this earth to
hate each other.
To hate each other. Like, he didn't. That was not in his intention. Yeah. So there's no reason for us to go out of our way just to hurt somebody.
And he put a beating heart in all 8 billion people.
Absolutely.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Like
and people are being born every day.
Yep. What is it? It's like there's like 8 babies for every one person.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like we aren't going away for a while, y'all.
Yeah.
Last I checked, the sun's not going to swallow the earth for another 5 billion years. So you guys got to get along for a little while.
And if it does, I'll intervene.
Bro, just stop the sun. I command you to stop. We don't want to die yet. We'll be long gone, I'm sure, before that. At that point, we'll just be angels. We'll just be like, I guess the sun's finally
cool.
That's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. Everyone on Earth is just like, we're dying. I'm like, well, you'll join us. Whatever. Let's see. Yeah. Look, if I'm still in my angelic form in 5 billion years, we'll gladly do whatever I can to stop the sun from swallowing the earth. So at that point, we probably need it to happen. We need a good extinction.
Yeah.
We need a good extinction.
Yes, we do.
Go back to Stone Age.
Yeah.
And people didn't have the time to mess with each other. They were just trying to live. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine if, oh my gosh, all that stuff never existed? Social media, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It'd be such a...
Well, this is gonna bring out the nerd in me, but I forget what year it was, but there was you know what a solar flare is?
Yeah. Yes.
So you might know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget what year it was. I want to say it was 2011, 2012, somewhere in the early 2010s. There was a solar flare. If it would have happened, I think it was 8 minutes sooner, we would have had no internet or electricity or anything for. Actually, I don't even think we have it now. Like,
oh wow,
it would take. I think it said it'll take almost 20 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we were that close to being.
Yeah, that close to being gone, wiped out in a second.
Well no, we would have been fine. It would have been
right. Yeah, we wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what would have happened if instantly none of that stuff worked? Just gone.
Yeah, I mean, it would have.
The world would have descended to chaos so quickly.
At the time, but I mean, I feel like as people we would have gotten used to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we would have figured it out. I mean,
yeah,
we would have either rebuilt the systems, figured out how to reconnect them, or something like that. Some genius would have done it.
Yeah,
I would not have signed up for that job. I'd been like, yep, I think I'm just gonna sit in my underground bunker just for a couple of years. Why don't I do that? And if my alarm rings at that time, I'll know it's time to come out. Yeah. I'm happy to be a human.
Me too. Sometimes, most of the time. There's sometimes I'm like, oh my god.
Cats are pretty cool though. Yeah. Cats are pretty amazing animals.
Yes, they are. And dogs.
If in the snap of a finger every human turned into an animal, a cat would be dope. Like a lion or some shit, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it would. It would be awesome.
Freaking king of the jungle. I could live with that.
I want to be. I think I want to be like. I want to be an eagle or a hawk, like a bird. I want to be a bird. One of the big birds.
Yeah. Flight is awesome. Like to fly.
Yeah, or cheetah.
Awesome. Cheetah, yes, fastest.
This is going way off topic, but I don't care. This is fun.
No, this is good talk. Like it's you got. I think the basis of everything is you got to first be kind. Mm-hmm. In any situation that you put in. Put that at the forefront of your mind, and you'll be golden.
Yep.
Just be kind.
So much easier to love than
absolutely.
And you don't gotta go up to a person and say, "I love you."
No, you don't. Like,
I'd rather do that than say, "I hate you."
Like, don't ever shame someone on how they love someone other. Like, everyone has different ways of loving people. Yep. It's just.
But also, don't make people feel they need to love the way you love.
Right.
Everyone loves differently.
Yeah. No one has an obligation. Like, I don't have an obligation to love everyone. I just
exactly.
If it is a choice that yes, God wants us to love each other.
Yep.
However, God is not saying you must love every. You have to profess your love to every single. No, He's just saying treat them with love, meaning treat them with respect, treat them with kindness. It's just universal kindness essentially. Just stay fair to everyone that you meet. So it's just be kind, treat everyone like a human.
Yep.
And you'll pretty much live a happy life. I mean,
you will.
Sure, you can't do everything right, but no one can.
Yeah, I've seen so many. We're almost running out of time here. I've seen so many people say like on like the Steve Harvey show, for example, like there was one couple, they were like 102, 100 years old, and he asked them, he was like, what helped you guys get to this point? And they were like, we loved each other and we loved everyone.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Absolutely, simple as that. Well, thank you everyone who has listened. We're gonna continue popping these episodes out. No, ain't gonna stop, ain't gonna not. Got that podcaster in me, all right.
Pause.
All right, thank you all for listening, and we wish you all a wonderful day.
See ya.